Gerwyn Price has a lot of history in the Grand Slam of darts, with it being the only major title that he has won 3 times. It was the tournament in which he won his first televised title back in 2018 when he beat Gary Anderson in a controversial final to become the first Welsh winner of a PDC major. However, he was far from one of the favourites back on his debut in the event in 2016, which he qualified for by winning his first PDC title at a Players' Championship event. For his first Slam appearance, he was drawn in a tough-to-call group with former finalists Robert Thornton, Dimitri Van den Bergh and Scott Waits. After the first 2 rounds of group stage games had been completed, Thornton led the group after 2 wins, with Price and Van den Bergh both on 2 points. Dimitri faced Waits in his final game and won in a deciding leg. This meant that he finished the group with a leg difference of +1 and eliminated Waits. That result meant that a Price win against Thornton would see the Welshman go through. If Price won 5-4, Thornton would still go through, whilst the 5-3 result would see a 9-dart shootout held between Robert and Dimitri. The key game between Price and Thornton was very close, with Price eventually breaking to go 4-3 up after Robert had missed 2 darts to secure qualification. A hold in leg 8 would see Price go through, and a shootout held between Van den Bergh and Thornton. With the advantage of throw, Gezi was the first to finish at 95. He hit 25 of his first dart of this to leave 70. He then had to remain straight and hit a 20 to get a match start. However, he was unable to and strayed into the treble 1. This left him on 67 and he then aimed at treble 9 to leave tops. He again missed the intended target, hitting treble 12 to mean that he scored 64 and left an awkward 31. The TV scoreboard updated to show this, but Russ Bray then made a big error. He called 54 scored instead of 64, meaning that the markers wrote down that Price was left on 41, which was wrong. Thornton then missed the dart of the ball from 1-2-3 to qualify, giving Price another chance. The scoreboard read 31, but Bray said that Price required 41. Price hit single 1 to leave tops, but the TV cameras zoomed in on double 15 as the scoreboard was wrong. Price then hit single 20 and double 10 to check out 41 and qualify, which was the score that Bray told him to finish. This meant that he won 5-3, despite having scored 511 points in the final leg, which should have seen him bust. This meant that a 9-dart shootout between Thornton and Van den Bergh was set up. If Price had thrown at 31, that would have been much harder for him, as he favours tops and 10s. Had Bray's miscount cost Thornton a place in the knockout stages? Well, ultimately no, as Robert used great tactics in the shootout. When required to score over 60 with 3 to beat Dimmy, Thornton hit 2 single 20s and the outer ball to outscore the Belgian by just 5 points and claim a 10s victory. If only Richie Howson remembered to do that in the 10s triple 9-dart shootout at the Super Series in October 2022. Bray's mistake at the Grand Slam was heavily criticised, but his fellow caller Paul Hinks said that everybody in their occupation made mistakes at some point due to human nature. Wayne Mardle also gave his thoughts on the incident.
He's actually gone for the score that was on the board, which was on the chalkboard, which was right, which is 41. But Robert, this is why you should always watch what's going on. Every dart player should watch what their opponent's doing. Robert could have come behind and said, no, you want 31, not 41. 31 is different to 41 for one reason. It's only a 2-dart combination. But if you like tops, 1 tops is a good combination. If you like tops, you can't take that out when you want 31. So there was a bit of confusion at the end there, but it just needs to be cleared up. There's no one at fault here. It's just human error. That's all it is. No one's at fault. No one's a cheat. Just something that's happened. That's it.
And as in all sports, the referee's decision is final.
Yes.
After all that drama, both Price and Thornton went out in the next round, with Robert losing 10-5 to MVG, the man who he beat in the Grand Prix final a year earlier, and Gerwyn losing in a deciding leg to Brendan Dolan after missing a dart at tops. Dolan beating Price in a major knockout game, where have we seen that before? The mistake from Bray saw him heavily criticised, as it followed on from a mistake he made the day before when he incorrectly called a 54 score from Simon Whitlock as 53. This didn't cost Simon the leg, but it caused him to look very flustered and confused, and could have been part of the reason why he was whitewashed by Snakebite Peter Wright. Russ also made a big counting error at the Grand Slam in 2021 in a high-profile game between MVG and Gary Anderson in the last 16. When the Dutchman was leading 8-7 in the first to 10 tie, He hit single 5, single 19 and treble 18 from 3-4-2 to score 78. However, Russ miscounted and called 82 scored. By the time Michael was down to a finish, the scoreboard was correct with it saying that he required 82. However, Russ stated that he required 78, 4 points fewer than he actually did, due to the earlier error. Therefore, the Dutchman went treble 18 double 12 to finish the 78, whilst the TV cameras followed the 82 route. Russ called game shot, meaning that MVG won the leg despite scoring just 497 points. An 82 finish would have been harder, and so MVG got a slight advantage. He went on to win the game 10-8. Having worked at almost every PDC TV tournament for 30 years, it's obvious that Russ is going to have made some errors. Despite the criticism that he's received over recent years, it would be a real shame to lose a character who is more recognisable and associated with the sport than many of his players. As Paul Hinks said, errors are inevitable. They are now even more likely with the hundreds of thousands of streamed or televised darts shown every year. So, I'm asking you guys, what's the biggest darts refereeing mistake you can remember? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'll let you know some of the other major ones. This one's not a counting one, it's an observational one. I've made a video about this already, so go back and watch it if you haven't, but Russ Bray failed to call this double 12 as out in the 2013 Gibraltar Darts Masters, leading to a big media frenzy calling Phil Taylor a cheat. Of course, Phil is also to blame for not reporting it, but it doesn't look good. Another notable non-counting error came at the 2015 World Championships when Paul Hinks incorrectly told Christo Reyes and Wes Newton that a bull-up was not required before their sudden death leg. The leg began for 3 visits before Hinks told the players to stop and then explained the correct procedure. The confused players then shot at the ball and the leg began as usual. Reyes went on to win in controversial circumstances. The PDC released a statement after the game saying that the situation was the same for both players and the outcome of the game was not materially affected by the error. PDC tournament director Tommy Cox said, Paul Hinks is a top-class referee who makes very few errors in what is a very demanding role, especially on the biggest stage of all. This is another big error and this one can be fully blamed on the referee. Those two are just some more of the biggest errors ever. Remember to let me know in the comments what you think is the biggest one. And again, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss a new video.